All right, rapid fire tournament footage here. We have Execration versus MerkLC. This is still from day one of this last chance qualifier, with the rest of the winners bracket, obviously the actual finals of the winners bracket being played on day two, and some of the last of the losers bracket as well. So as always, everybody, if you're not subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell. We got tons more videos going to come out for the rest of the week for tournaments, and of course the new set reveal. But let's get into this game, Execration versus MerkLC.
Speaking of, we actually have another game going on here between Execration and MerkLC.
Let's go.
Who is Execration playing right now? I can't find MerkLC in the deck preview. What is their actual name?
Oh boy, that is a good question.
What is their government name?
What? Hold on. I don't know the score either. So, all right, cool. It's actually still 0-0 for this game. So,
Oh, okay.
gonna go ahead and update that for you guys, and then we'll see if we can figure out who the heck MerkLC is.
My gut says Molotov because that's the first player I ran into that's running Kato in their Frostbite.
Oh wait. Oh, duh. We can just look at the brackets. What am I talking about, man?
That's why I asked.
No. No. Molotov and MerkLC played each other.
Okay.
So Molotov is out. So MerkLC is his own. So let's see. What do we got?
Either way, looks like Execration's about to take this one over, is pushing through. No damage on this turn as they don't have the attack token, but next turn when this Captain Pharaon gets to strike and then a couple of decimates get to come down, Execration's looking pretty favored here. I don't see a reason not to go for an open attack. No Frostbite effects in MerkLC's hand that can be played at fast speed. Execration, don't you dare play that decimate pre-combat. If you get Iceveil Archered here, I'm going to be so mad at you.
I think Gwen.
Okay.
Because he is playing one Kato and one Captain in his Frostbite deck. So I'm going to go ahead and say MerkLC is Gwen, which means there's also Ezreal, Karma, and Deep. So this lineup is very typical from lineups that we've seen in the past as well.
Wait, if you're just guessing based on the presence of Kato, I actually passed like 4 Kato players.
Damn it. Well, no, I'm also based on like who's still in the tournament and stuff like that.
Okay,
too,
that makes sense, yeah.
I mean, the only other thing would be Platinum. No, Platinum Rod's not playing Kato. So, yeah. No,
Dante Leash is playing Kato.
And really, Dante, where you at? So
We'll probably figure it out when we go into the next deck. But in the meantime, Execration, for some reason, plays an Omen Hawk and gets absolutely hard punished for it. Captain Pharaon finally arrives to the party on time, and he doesn't even get to party. Iceveil Archer says, "I'm cutting you off. You're the designated driver now. You don't get to do anything for at least another couple rounds." Why is it so difficult for players to play Captain, attack with Captain, play Decimates? Why is that such a difficult proposition?
Because I feel like people are worried about committing that much mana, right? Like, they're like, well, damn, if I do this play, then I'm basically saying the game is done, and I have to win with just Captain Pharaon and playing these Decimates.
I mean, so, like, even if Merc had, like, harsh wins, playing Omen Hawk doesn't play around that.
And hold on, I'm actually trying to... for some reason, the left of the screen's a little awkward, so I'm going to go ahead and... Man.
I'm going to go ahead and keep flaming Execration for not attacking with Captain Pharaon. Look at this. You didn't even attack this turn. What are you doing, Execration? Just hit him. You got the axe. It's time for the chop chop, baby. Ain't you ever seen Food Network? Get in there. This is actually going to be a lot of damage push through on the side of MerkLC as well, getting that Kato Trifarian Assessor combo, as well as the Ash proc down onto the Captain Pharaon again. No chance for an atrocity to come out of this Frostbite mid-range deck of Execration, which is absolutely not a thing that would happen, but it's off the table as Captain Pharaon once again going to fall down to a 0-9. MerkLC understanding the importance of going for an open attack.
All right, we changed it to 1080, but for some reason there's a black bar on the left, so we're gonna have to deal with it, folks. Okay, I don't know. That's on the YouTube side of things. I don't know why it's doing that, but so But yeah, we do see a Kato and an Ash and a pretty big field and a pretty big attack right now. And a Crystal Arrow about to land on the top of the deck. So we'll see if that's going to help on the following turn. But another Captain Farron on the side of Merc as well. So this will be interesting to see whose Captain Farron ends up taking it home. I feel like, because we kind of jumped into this game, I feel like there's a definitive answer as to like who actually wins with their Farron based on who played it first, because like Execration already has it. But Merc has a really big attack right now, so I don't have the brain capacity to actually figure out the math behind like whose Captain Farron definitely wins out here.
If Execration could just go for an open attack and once in his life, he would be favored. But MerkLC is actually going to pull ahead on the life total this turn. Granted, Execration could get down 2 decimates while Merc only gets down 1. And now Execration looks like he's going to have to be a little bit worried about the potential of a harsh winds coming out of his opponent if he is actually only left with this Captain Farron. That could be not enough to actually close out the game. But at the moment, if your opponent is just left with this board, yeah, Captain Farron's still not going to do it. If your opponent does get down their own Farron, that is sort of the best blocker available for them. Though I think he gets it done with Fury of the North and the third copy of Decimate. If Execration just runs out 2 decimates, goes attack with Farron, Fury, Decimate, that is, if I can math this out correctly, 12, 16 damage.
Yeah, we do start to see 1 Decimate come down. But Merc, yeah, no, I think Merc has this. How does... All right, so Execration goes for an open attack, right?
Yeah.
But now it gets blocked by...
Farron, you Fury of the North. That pushes through 5 damage.
Okay, so
and then you throw out your other Decimate.
So now I'm trying to think of where the mana is at. Like, so how much mana do you have left? So if you open...
So you throw out another Decimate here, and then you just Decimate Fury next turn.
Oh, okay, I see. So,
yeah.
Brittle Steel doesn't do anything, and Crystal Arrow won't do anything if he opens attack. So, yeah, no, I think this is Execration.
All right, Execration, open attack this time. You didn't do it last time. I believe in you again. Don't you dare play that Glory Seeker. What would you even do with it?
That's a bait.
You're going to play this Glory Seeker to pull the Farron. It doesn't matter. You have lethal with the Fury of the North. Execration. Are you allergic to open attacking?
That's
a
bait.
Hit a space bar.
That's a bait. Oh, he got baited. Oh my God, he just lost the game.
Execration wise, it's your opponent has enchanted Crystal Arrow. Like,
yeah,
you should know that. This is one of the bigger throws I've seen in. This isn't even a bait. This is just This is just bad.
Oh no, yeah. Wait. Does he still? Wait, no, because you can't. He can just block with the 4/2. I was gonna say, so he's now 1 off lethal because then he can still Fury the North it. But then he blocks with the Iceveil Archer, and it only does 2 damage. And
now we're just even playing the Decimate, giving our opponent further chance to... What are we doing?
I don't get this. This is not good. Oh, and now we're on a black screen, though. Oh, now we're back. There it is! Hey, it's fixed. Okay, sweet.
So I want everyone to... You're all at your computer, assumedly. Pick up your keyboard with me, if you will.
And smash
it. Here. If you hit... It's really cool. It's a hack for Legends Runeterra. If you hit the A key... and then the space bar, you win the game. Yeah. This is all attack. This is lock in the action. It's a really cool trick that a lot of players don't take advantage of, like Execration here, who has just decided that they don't want to win the game. They didn't want to play in a tournament today. They're just not interested in it.
Oh man. And did he actually... All right, I just got confused. I was like, wait a second. Why does this look like this? But Execration is now on this side.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I don't think you ever don't block. Okay, yeah. So he's gonna block with the Ash just to make sure he doesn't take damage. Wow. So he actually just inted that game.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. Execration, what are you doing, man? Oh man, and we've seen Execration play before. Just so disappointing to see something like that happen, and it sucks. Wow. And Execration going down 0-1 when he really shouldn't have, to be honest.
Gotta say, though, totally deserved loss on the side of Execration.
Oh, yeah.
Two turns he had the opportunity to open attack for lethal and just didn't take it.
Yeah, that hurt me. That cut deep. That wasn't cool. I can't believe that your opponent has the Crystal Arrow.
He must. I mean, he must have forgotten.
How do you forget it's face up?
It's not face up. I don't know why, but it's not face up.
It's because it's put on the top of the deck first.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Well, still. Like there's an animation for it, man. There's an animation for it.
No excuse on that one. That was sloppy.
Wow, that feels bad, man.
But it's a new game, and hopefully Execration knows how to pilot this one a little bit better. Open attacks not meaning as much in this one, so the spaces that he has shown weaknesses in game number 1 not going to play out as poorly here for him in game number 2. But overall, I'm pretty sure Karma Ezreal still feels pretty favored into this Thresh Lux deck, and I think that might be one of the reasons that we've seen this deck sort of fall off lately.
The Lux deck fall off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I believe this is the only Lux Thresh deck in top 16.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Again, BBG brought it into popularity as of late, and it was super popular for like a week, and then it instantly fell off, and now it's like almost non-existent. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not convinced it's bad either. I feel like it's still a decent deck.
I think people are just really committing their Shadow Isle elsewhere. It's not necessarily that this is a bad deck, but because Bannerman is still so good and because Deepen and Door Spiders are so good, it's just kind of a bigger regional ask than it feels like it used to be.
Yeah, and I will say, like, does Spooky Karma just do what Lux Thresh does, but better?
To an extent. They play a little bit differently. The Unyielding Spirit does just blow open a couple of matchups, as well as just the presence of something like the Radiant Guardian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I look at the Lux Thresh deck, I think to myself, like, okay, is this a control deck or is this a mid-range deck? And it's like, it kind of wants to do both. It does one or the other depending on the matchup, right? Yep. And I don't know. As far as the control is concerned, I feel like Spooky Karma just does it better. And I feel as the mid-range, like I feel like Demacia, like some sort of mono Demacia deck just does it better, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know. It's still a decent deck in my eyes. So we'll see if it's actually able to take one away here from MerkLC after that horrifying first match loss, I should say.
Yeah, so far things not looking phenomenal for Execration. Hasn't done a great job of being able to develop so far. It always sucks when that turn 3 Remembrance doesn't work out. There are very few punishes for actually going for that, but Thermo Beam onto a non-tough unit is one of them, and MerkLC still has all the targets available that he could possibly ask for. Is like one shy of leveling up the Ezreal just based on what he has in hand.
Yeah, Static Shocks feel really good. So he's probably going to be... I mean, do you... Or no, he only has 3 mana. I was going to say do Static Shock the Grizzle Ranger, but 3 mana you cannot. Actually, valuing the health in this matchup and trading the Eye of the Dragon there, I don't know... do you agree with that?
It definitely looks a little weird to me, though I am, theoretically the Eye of the Dragon does represent the 2 lifesteal, though looking at Merc's hand, I'm not sure the next time that they actually get off multiple spells in a turn. Mm-hmm. I think it's not unreasonable to get down 2 spells on Execration's next turn if you go for... If the Grizzled Ranger had survived, for example, you go Static Shock onto the Ranger, Concussive Palm onto something else, but maybe, Execration wanted to play around something like exactly the single combat. If you go for the Static Shock onto the Grizzled Ranger and then a single combat comes out of Execration, you get a card out of your opponent, but that doesn't feel as good as the fact that they dodged a target as well as killed one of your Eye of the Dragons anyway.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because I feel like Eye of the Dragon was a card that so many people were really high on when it first came out, and it's still really good. But I think people underestimated how hard it is to actually reliably get 2 spells off like every turn. You will get some value out of it a lot, but in cases like this, he has a hand where, like you said, it doesn't look like he's really going to be getting 2 spells off in a turn. I mean, we do see a single combat come out to kill this Ezreal really early on as well.
And we see a deny in MerkLC's hand, but there's a second copy of single combat for Execration. So no matter what MerkLC wants to do this turn, this Ezreal is going to die. It doesn't have anything to permanently stop that. It's just a matter of how much of a mana commitment do you want to have? Do you really care about your opponent committing a double single combat? And honestly, Execration's hand is looking kind of weak, though. If he loses this Lux, he doesn't have anything to turn on these concerted strikes.
Okay, but I gotta say, man, I still think that's a win for Execration, because having your single combat denied when you're playing cards like Unyielding
Oh,
Spirit and
absolutely.
Vengeance is like amazing.
Yeah, you're gonna feel good about that one.
So yeah, and it still dies anyway, so you still get the desired result here. So yeah, overall, I think that is a win-win for Execration, and I think going into this next turn, although Merc has plenty of targets, he needs another Ezreal now. He does have the Karma; he just drew the Karma, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it to that late in the game as it currently stands.
I mean, he does have concussive bomb. He's got tools to make it to the late game, as well as, you know, the 2 draws that he's going to get off these static shocks can't be underestimated. And with this concussive palm coming out and the block being able to come from the tail onto the Badger Bear, there's only 2 attack turns left for Execration, or sorry, only 1 attack turn left before turn 10. So I don't think the game's ending anytime soon. I think that Merc should be able to make a comeback with this Karma Ezreal deck.
Man,
just because his life total is not getting pressured.
Yeah, and well, see, and now that's the thing. Like I was just talking about earlier with Execration, right? I feel like a mid-range Demacia deck pressures better than this Thresh Lux deck, and I feel like a control deck like Spooky Karma or even other control decks like Karma Ezreal do control better than this deck does control. So I don't know. Yeah, I think Execration might have a little bit of trouble putting the pressure on here, and maybe you're right. Maybe MerkLC can actually make it to the late game.
I mean, this is I would say that Lux decks, sure, they're not as good as other control decks, but they're about as good as Demacia is going to give you in terms of control deck.
Yeah, yep.
And I think that, like, you know, if you want to run, like, you know, Thresh Lux, Karma Ezreal instead of Spooky Karma, so that's where your Shadow Isle went, and then I don't know what last control deck I can come up with here.
Ooh, so, okay. Merc just topped a Thermo Beam, though. So this is going straight at the Lux, yep, and that is a free kill on this Lux, which is huge, I think, for MerkLC.
Yeah, that actually could have gone really bad for Merc if there was another copy of Lux in Execration's hand, get down to a prismatic barrier. But, you know, so far, doing a really good job of leveling the Ezreal. And anytime you see a Karma in a player's hand alongside a Rummage, you know that turn 10 is about to pop off.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We are 2 turns away from the inevitable. And, yeah. Oh, Rummage. Rummage feels so good. Such a good card!
I hate your Rummage.
Yeah, well, with Karma, I think it's busted, but, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's the idea. That's the idea. Will we ever see a Karma nerf? Who knows? Who knows? Probably.
It just feels like such a big reward for something so small. Like, congratulations, you survived 3 attacks from your opponent. Now you get to draw 4 for 1 mana.
Yeah. You made it to turn 10. Here's a prize.
A pretty big prize for not a lot.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And we do see the Vile Feast come down actually on one of the tokens. Probably, this is, you know, to me, this shows that Execration is basically now realizing, okay, I can't let Merc heal any more damage at all. I need to get some attacks through.
Yeah.
And gonna have to go ahead and Vile Feast this baby.
Still theoretically has the removal for the Eye of the Dragon as well with that second Vile Feast and the Valor attack. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like Valor attack into this Eye of the Dragon, Vile Feast it, play your copy of Radiant Guardian, and swing through for like 10 damage.
So should you Vile Feast the Eye of the Dragon first then to get the additional token out?
Before you go to combat, yes. But you don't have to do it right this second, although I think Merc is going to throw down a Static Shock onto Valor and the Spiderling token.
Which is going to feel really bad for Execration. And I think that exact play, to be honest with you, might be a little difficult for Merc to actually come back from.
Okay, so going to throw it onto the Thresh. If I had to guess, I would say that this Thresh is about to level, and that's why we're not killing the Spiderling. Or we're just softening it up for the double Mystic Shot when the Karma comes down. I'm tracking Ezreal, not Thresh. It looks like that Thresh is at 5 out of 6. Okay, so Execration, I think it behooves him to Vile Feast his own Spiderling.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that Thresh is, what, 1 away from...
Yeah, 1 away.
Yeah.
I think pulling the Lux out is not only very good for you in general, but also just represents a lot more damage than you are currently representing. And yeah, I really like this Vile Feast onto the Spiderling.
Yeah, now, this does represent a way to victory for Execration. He will have the attack token on turn 10. Unfortunately, the Karma will be leveled by then, so it's a really high chance that with that Rummage he's going to be able, Merk will find some sort of spell or something that'll be able to get him out of this. But at least now, Execration is giving himself some sort of shot.
Yeah, and that karma that comes down is not going to be long for this world in the face of double concerted strike and any final sparks that do end up coming out of the Lux. I feel like, Execration's got a chance at pulling this one back. Here we see the static shock, but that's going to be A-okay by Execration, who really just cares about getting this Thresh leveled.
Yep. Good old Thresh level. Always feels good. And, oh, man, Thresh is only going to get better as more cards are released, too. I can't wait. I really hope they release another, expensive champion in this next set.
So the problem that I have with... So imagine Thresh Taric, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to get my Taric. But then Thresh just pulls it all the way to the right, and it never supports anything.
Yeah, no. Thresh Taric, not a thing. Nope. Not going to happen. And down to 8, Merk goes. And let's see if...
Thresh Taric, not going to happen.
Yeah.
3:50 p.m., August 14th. I'm going to make you eat those words.
Watch this fucking happen now. If oh my god. If somebody figures out a way to make Thresh Taric work, I quit.
Look, I learned from last time. I'm just playing Bannerman day one.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Whatever Broken Demacia card they come out with, I'm just putting 3 of that into a current Bannerman list and jamming that until I am Masters again.
What about Burn Aggro? What if something good for Burn Aggro comes out? Just play that.
I have never played Burn Aggro on ladder in my life.
Really?
Really. So I'm always kind of late to hit Masters, and one of the big reasons for it is I never play aggro decks.
That's usually to get to Diamond is easiest is Burn Aggro. Then once you hit Diamond, you usually have to start playing different stuff because people actually know what the hell Burn Aggro is. So
I would much rather play Spooky Karma to just constantly beat Burn Aggro than I would play Burn Aggro. It's just not enjoyable for me.
You would rather play... Wow, those are some big words, man. You'd rather play Spooky Karma and waste hours upon hours of your life to get a few wins than be a degenerate and play Burn Aggro and get a ton of wins in half the time.
Because I had a better time doing it. And I know I'll hit Masters. That's not a question. I'm gonna hit Masters. That's not even a concern. And that's the beauty of being a caster. I don't care how long it takes me.
Just as long as I get there.
No one's fact checking me on this one. No one's being even as casters, we don't go in actually I noticed it took about a month and a half for this player to hit Masters. Chad, who we just saw top 4 the duels of Runeterra last weekend, he's only Diamond 4 right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't. The rank on ladder doesn't really matter. If you're entering tournaments, then that's all. If you're winning tournaments, then great.
Yeah, your skill is your skill. If you don't have enough time to climb ladder, it's not like your skill is lacking.
Yeah. Yep. And we actually see here that the first karma was taken care of actually pretty swiftly.
Yeah.
We still see a possibility for an attack here by Execration, and this is
100% lethal.
Yeah, this is lethal. This is lethal. So Execration found that little window to be aggressive. That Vile Feast on the Thresh absolutely, I think, won him this game. Or not on the Thresh, but on the Spiderling to level the Thresh. Yeah, wow. That's huge on Execration. So making me feel a little bit better about that misplay from the previous game. Execration bringing it back 1-1 here. We'll see if he can go ahead and take game 3 and make this comeback.
So what is this? Thresh into Deep? Or no, Ezreal Karma. No, Ash. Okay, so it's Ash Sejuani into Ezreal Karma. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's the last matchup we're going for. Which, honestly, from my understanding, and I've taken a bit of a good hard look into this matchup. This is actually Karma Ezreal favored.
Against mid-range Frostbite.
Yeah. Which I think is a big reason that we've seen Karma Ezreal come back.
I could see that. Yeah, just because of how many resources that the Karma Ezreal have to stun stuff, prevent stuff from attacking. Now, okay. Execration, is he playing Captain Farron?
Yeah, one of.
Oh, that's right. We saw it in the last game. So, does drawing an early Captain Farron provide any sort of advantage, though?
I mean, no matter how early you draw it, it's still a turn 8 Captain Farron.
Well, okay. So I guess what I meant to say is drawing it on curve. If he actually draws it on turn 8, it just goes fully aggressive all the way through turn 8. Is that maybe like the only way that mid-range Frostbite can really win the game?
Potentially. So the problem that mid-range Frostbite runs into is that you have 5 attack turns between you and Karma Ezreal, like Karma being online.
Yep.
Typically, like Frostbite mid-range decks are ending the game in about 2 attacks, but because there are so many stun effects coming out of the Karma Ezreal, that's actually really difficult for them to do. There's not a lot that they can do to actually prevent, like, they don't have the tools to sort of aggro out the Karma Ezreal before they can get to the Karma turn, and a big part of that is just how effective the stun effects are. And you have to constantly open attack because things like Concussive Palm and Yone really punish you for not doing that. But typically your open attacks aren't enough damage to actually end the game, and you find yourself in this damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. And it really just depends on what answers line up for the Karma Ezreal player.
Yeah, I gotta say too, I was talking about Frostbite earlier, how good Frostbite is with something like an Unyielding Spirit. Inherently Frostbite looks like you lose value playing it, so you have to combo it with something to really get value. But Stun, same thing. Stun seems like you're losing value by playing the card, but against a deck like this, the amount of tempo that stuns can get you is astronomically high. And I gotta say, Steel Tempest, man, since they reduced the cost to 2, I am really starting to feel this card, because the amount of tempo that you get for 2 mana off of Steel Tempest is actually incredible in so many decks.
Oh, absolutely.
Better than I think it's all right, never mind. I'm not gonna say it's better than 4 mana Will of Ionia, but
that would be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but it's pretty close. It has a similar feel when you do use it to gain tempo to prevent an attack. It has a very similar feel that the old Will of Ionia used to have.
I don't love this Steel Tempest. I feel like I would much rather Thermo Beam post combat.
Yeah, I got to agree. You just take the 5 and deal with it.
Because next turn, if we play another Chump Wump, we still don't have Thermo Beam mana for the Ashe. And I really just want to get that off the board so that I can open up my Chump Wump as a blocker. And this is what I'm talking about. There are only 2 more attack turns for Execration to end the game before Karma's online. And MerkLC's still sitting at 20 life with another stun, a Mystic Shot, and a Thermo Beam in hand.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I feel like the Thermo Beam probably would have been the play there. I think generally speaking with the stuns, like, I want to be stunning some of the larger units that come along. Stuff like a Sejuani, like a Kato if they're playing Kato, or a Captain Farron.
They've all got 5 attack.
Hearthguard. Well, yeah. I know they all have 5 attack, but with something like an Ashe, especially a pre-leveled Ashe, it's just a lot easier to kill being at 3 health. With something like a Thermo Beam or a Static Shock and a Mystic Shot, just a lot more options to get rid of it. When you start trying to get rid of something like a Hearthguard with 5 health, it becomes a lot more difficult, whereas stunning it seems like it's a little bit more efficient if it does come down. We only see the Sejuani, so actually, crucially, Execration does not have that curve 5-drop Aversion Hearthguard, which I think is actually going to be a pretty big deal here.
Speaking of big deals, I think that MerkLC was playing around Elixir of Iron last turn by not going for the Thermo Beam onto the Ashe, so I think he is going to commit to this 6 mana Thermo Beam here to continue to play around that. And then he could get... I mean, like, do you ever Fury of the North to save this? Leaving your Ashe with 1 HP is a little bit scary. Anytime I look at my board and go, this is a perfect Static Shock, I get a little bit concerned.
I don't think you do this. This feels terrible. You need to pressure Merc as quickly as possible, and playing a Fury of the North on a defensive turn is not the way to do it.
Okay, we see that turn 8 Captain Farron you had mentioned. We'll see if that is what it takes to be the difference maker in a matchup like this, but so far Execration has not been able to touch the life total of MerkLC.
I think you got to go for the turn 6 Sejuani here. You throw down the Sejuani, you get some overwhelm damage off, you force Merc to basically... probably have to Mystic Shot the Ashe right here. We'll probably see a Steel Tempest come out or a Concussive Palm onto the Sejuani. And then just kind of hope that the next attack turn you have with this Captain Farron is going to be a big enough swing to end the game with these Decimates.
This is so bad, though. I mean, so you see the Concussive Palm and the Okay, I thought we were going to see Steel Tempest onto the Sejuani. Instead, MerkLC looks like they're going to play mana efficiently. Actually, going to pull that one back. The idea that I had was, you let this Avarosan Sentry hit you in the face, you fall to 18, and then you just immediately attack with your Dragonling and go back up to 20.
Yeah, yep, we see the Mystic Shot. I think, one thing I will mention, Merc is running out of options. I mean, it seems like he's got a lot of cards because he's got the 2 Shrooms in hand, but, like, he's almost definitely going to have to rummage those 2 Shrooms away to replace those next turn, or maybe even this turn before the turn ends. Looks like, okay, he is going to go with the Concussive Palm, so we are going to see probably the rummage on next turn. Damn it, choose a stun already! God, we've gone back and forth so many... You're like, I thought he was going to choose the Concussive Palm. Wait, no, Steel Tempest. Wait, no, Palm. No, Tempest. Jeez.
I do like the Tempest better.
I prefer the Tempest too. There's no reason to not bank the spell mana, I feel.
He gets a deep med off the top as well. Things going great for MerkLC so far.
That's big. Yep. Get the... I don't like this block. I feel like you need to have as many attackers as possible, no?
I think you just need a heftier gruff of units. Execration... I mean, like, you could go for the Trifarian Glory Seeker into Trifarian Assessor this turn, but that doesn't feel phenomenal, right?
Did you say gruff?
I did.
What is a gruff?
What context did I use it in? I have the memory of a goldfish.
You said a gruff of units, a better gruff of units.
Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. Why you gotta bring up old shit? That's the old me. I'm a different man now.
Oh, God. I'm going to make an animation for, like, a chalkboard that comes up on the screen, and we're just going to, like, have it type out, like, the definition of words.
That would be some next level stream quality.
That would be amazing. I'm gonna figure out a way to do that. Actually, I gotta work on the emotes first, so I think I gotta check myself.
All right, MerkLC picks up the Yone, and I think that Execration is going to be pretty tempted to go for Captain Pharaon, since we have seen him show a deep aversion to open attacking in the past. Granted, not to say that an open attack here would be good, but I am going to continue to roast him for throwing game number 1, because he could just, this match could have ended last game.
So, because we're getting towards turn 10, okay, all right, never mind. That just answers my question. I was going to say, do you play Captain Pharaon to try to attack with him next turn, but then this Yone basically says, hell no, you don't, because it would just get stunned out by the Yone. So it actually looks like it might be smart to keep the Captain Pharaon for another turn, probably the next attack turn. We'll see if he gets rewarded.
I could see you playing it next turn. Maybe go the Hearthguard, maybe go for another Trifarian Assessor. I just don't think that, like, drawing cards is necessarily impactful at this stage of the game. I think you need to be developing board and going as aggro as possible, and this is what I was talking about with the deck being Karma Ezreal favored. They have so much punishes for not open attacking, but your open attacks just feel so unimpactful in so many situations.
And we do see the Chump-Lump. Okay, Chump-Lump finally coming down and getting a couple more Shrooms there. I will say, Execration, really wide board right now. So this is going to be a scary... One of the things that, Karma Ezreal can't deal with is wide boards. It can only deal with targeting single units. So this is going to be a scary attack the following turn.
We're probably even going to see this Trifarian Assessor overwrite the Omen Hawk. Just to get another 4 draws, completely fill the hand of Execration, who then has a case at pushing through lethal with the... Actually, could just play the Ash instead. I don't know how close this Ash is to leveled, but if it's a 2 out of 5 and you want to go for a Harshman's lethal next turn, I think that's totally viable. Granted, I believe MerkLC would probably Will of Ionia that Ash as soon as it touches the table.
I will say this. All right, so he has no lack of options on the side of Execration. Like, he has Assessor in hand. This is a big-ass Assessor. Like, this is going to be... Wait, what do we call 4? What do we call 4 draws on Assessor?
I think we called
Please
it...
nerf Assessor?
I think that was 5.
That was 5?
I'm going to YouTube. I'm going to find it.
We need this list. So, like, one of the reasons why Karma will usually win, Karma Ezreal here, is because it's just going to have so many more tools than the mid-range Frostbite. That is not the case here. So, really, all it's going to come down to is, does Execration allow MerkLC to get Karma and Ezreal on the field? And that might be a little hard to make sure that it doesn't happen.
All right, we called 4 draws a greedy assessor,
Greedy. Okay. All right.
which
Well,
makes sense. 9 times out of 10, if you got 4 or 5 attack units
that's
on
greedy.
board, that was a little greedy. How'd you get this far?
Well, I think we're about to see a 5 draw, which means it does need to get nerfed. So just throwing that out there.
Very surprised that Merc goes for the chump lump over respecting the harsh winds lethal that could come out here. But I'm trying to look at things here.
Is there a way to counter the harsh winds lethal though?
So you attack, you double harsh winds, your opponent has 5 frozen units, and then you can double Will of Ionia, but I think taking 2 attackers off the board still doesn't do it. It looks like we're not going to go for it, though, if we're challenging anything, because you do have the option to take every single blocker off the board for Merc this turn.
Well, he might just be challenging it to get the value trade, which does seem a little bit weird.
I don't think the value trade is worth the 5 damage that you're missing.
I don't think it is either. So now, well, let's see if he frostbites everything. Does he have lethal if everything gets frostbitten and we see, what is it, 2 wills? He can only play 2 wills or a will and a stun, right? And a health potion. He has a health potion too, though.
But that doesn't matter because you're dying from 20.
Yeah, you're at 20. So
I think we are 1 off of lethal. No, we should have exact lethal. No. We're 1 off. We're 1 off because we can only deal 19.
Okay, so
our three weakest attackers represent 19 damage, but we're actually going to go for the stun instead in sort of a half-ass harsh winds lethal.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, maybe this way, I mean, now he has the option to kind of play the harsh winds in response to something. I don't know if he actually gains anything by doing that. Yeah, it just seems odd.
I mean, you do leave yourself the assessor this way. The problem that I have is you leave yourself open to, not winning the game through only 1 attack stopping effect, whereas previously you needed your opponent to have 2. Granted, like one of them could have been a Mystic Shot or a Static Shock because you were trying to push lethal with the Assessor there. So like it would have been a little greedy to go for it, but I think that it's potentially even greedier to not respect the Karma Ezreal potential here, even though we know that Merc doesn't have the Karma readily available to him.
But he does have Ezreal and a decent amount of spells in hand, so it's still going to be close because of that. I got to agree. I mean, I think that he should have done the double harsh winds because again, we were talking about this earlier, like he needs to go for the window, right? Like that was I think his window to just straight up win the game. Now it's kind of up to chance. I mean, if MerkLC draws a Karma or something else that's going to get him a decent amount of spells, he's just kind of screwed. And this is going to get denied, obviously.
Yeah, I think this harsh winds onto the Ezreal might actually be able to save Execration. Saving 6 HP that Ezreal open attack represents should be enough. At 15 life, Merc's got to... If he draws Karma, though, it's all over, right? Deep Med, that could get it done too, also, actually.
Yep. Let's see, that's... Well, he would have had it if the Ezreal could attack, but it's going to get frostbitten. So, no, I don't know. I think he's still going to be short. That's... 2, 4... Oh, no. Well, going into next turn, though. So, next turn, I think he'll end up having lethal.
Me no math, man.
Yeah, wait, did he just... No, he didn't. He just let that attack through.
He did. So that he could try and Reckoning after the fact, but...
Me no understand. I don't feel like that makes sense. Not with how many cards are in Merc's hand. Like, you got to assume he's just going to be able to chain a bunch of stuff for the game for victory there.
So your Execration has basically said you can't deal 7 damage to me with your remaining 5 mana after you do this Mystic Shot. Which I think is reasonable. Unfortunately, Merc got the second deny. That might have been Execration's best chance at actually winning the game. I think that 7 damage in 5 mana is kind of a big ask, especially with, kind of showing that you don't have a Mystic Shot by not using one to save your unit last turn from the Trifarian Glory Seeker. Yeah, I think that Execration, I think that was reasonable. I think it was reasonable.
And, well, I mean, it's not going to matter now, especially drawing 2 shrooms. God, that sucks.
That's just it. You just health pot and shroom, and that's the ball game. MerkLC going to be moving on. Execration had a chance to pick this one up 2-0 and just didn't get to it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, that turn that you were talking about, the double harsh winds for lethal, I think that was his window. I think that's what he should have took right there for the game, and unfortunately he ends up losing because he didn't take it.
Yeah, I mean, did he lose because he didn't take? Because we knew that he was going to deal 19 anyway, so we knew it wasn't exact lethal. But I'm trying to remember how much else he was able to do with that mana that turn.
I'm trying. God, it was so long ago now. I do not forget. Are we even positive that it was only 19 damage?
Yeah. It was, if you will evite any of the 2 largest units, then your opponent has 3 5-attack units and 1 4-attack unit.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe you don't go for that turn, but I don't know. That's, honestly, was a really hard decision either way, one way or the other, so, but yeah, so, Execration getting taken down there, unfortunately, by MerkLC. All right, that's all, folks. As always, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.